Crossover. I am your man, Big T, alongside my tag team partners, the usual cast of characters. We're talking about Birdman is in the house, representing with his crown and his belt on tonight. Bird, what is up?
What's understood ain't got to be explained.
I like that. I like that. And then we got he's wearing a Phillies jersey, even though he's not a Phillies fan, but he is our resident.
It's in the theme of the week.
Okay. He is our resident baseball expert, and we're talking about none other than Isaac, aka Stats, is in the house, and he's going to bring us an in-depth baseball report tonight. Stats, what's going on?
What's up, y'all? We got college and we got Major League Baseball to talk about. You ready? Because this is a big burger I'm about to give you. You're going to have to digest. And I'm going to get to that theme later as well.
All right. Hey, and I am, like I said, I'm your man, Big T, and we are the tunnel crew, watching everything that happens inside and outside the tunnel, leading to the lines of competition in the world of sports. And we got a lot to talk about on this edition of At Home with the Crossover, because tonight we wonder aloud if Tyreek Hill is out of his mind. The Hornets, the dysfunction in the front office, the head coach, and the organizational problems seem to continue. And who will go first in the NBA draft, which is coming up this Thursday night at 8 p.m. But first, we talk the hot topics, the hottest stories in sports. May not be what everybody else is talking about, but it's the things we, the tunnel crew, want to talk about. And before we do that, we want to welcome in Radar. Radar Charles is in the house. I know why he's coming in a little bit behind, because, you know, sometimes when you're blind, you can't see all the computer keys. You don't know how to, get things started like they're supposed to. You got to hire your team, Radar Charles. I mean, when you're blind, you need help, man.
I fire somebody every weekend, Big T. I'm just saying. Good help is hard to find, man.
Say it's hard to find, huh?
It's hard to find, man.
Well, hey, better late than never, right?
Absolutely. Narrow is the way when it's time for the tunnel crew to come and play, man.
There you go. Narrow. Love it. All right. Well, hey, back to our hot topics. Like we said, hottest stories of sports may not be what everybody else is talking about, but it's the things we, the tunnel crew, want to talk about. And, NBA, anybody know who the new champs are? I mean, does anybody have a clue? Can anybody tell me who won the championship? Because it's pretty fresh, happened pretty recently. And, the team that I'm talking about would be those Golden State Warriors. Everybody on the tunnel crew was smarter than Big T, because everybody took the Warriors except for me. I took Boston. I took Boston in 7. I took Jason Tatum to be the outright finals MVP, and that man just completely kept disappearing left and right. But anyway, the Golden State Warriors captured their 4th title in 8 years, y'all, the 7th in franchise history. And just in 2020, they won 15 games. They were last in the entire NBA, worst record, y'all. And 2 years later, guys sitting up here as the champions. And them winning 4 championships in 8 years, they're the first team to do that since the 90s Bulls. Steph Curry won his first MVP, finals MVP, we should say. I mean, 4 trips, 4 wins, and this is his first time getting the MVP. He had 34 points in Game 6. He was 6 out of 11 from 3-point range. And Boston, man, they hadn't lost back-to-back games the entire playoffs, and then they lost 3 in a row for Golden State to close out the series on them. 3 straight after they were up 2-1 after Game 3. And so, it was pretty disappointing for me. I at least wanted it to go 7 games so I could at least feel like I had some drama. But the thing was wrapped up last Thursday. Tunnel Crew, your thoughts on the NBA Finals being in the books? The Golden State Warriors are your champions once again. And let's have at it. Let's talk about it. Your thoughts on it.
Well, Big T, you know, I applaud you for your attempt of being the lone man standing and choosing the Celtics and Tatum, because you would have had all the bragging rights to yourself, sir.
Yeah.
So I applaud you for the effort.
Hey,
you know.
I thought I was going to get another Georgia. Remember, I was on the island by myself with Georgia and Alabama, and I thought I was going to pull another one of those. Really, to be honest with you, I didn't know I was going to be on the island by myself because, you know, I sent my picks in first.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
And when I looked up and saw I was the only one, that shocked. I thought somebody else would pick the Celtics. Yeah.
Well, I tried to go take a page out of your book and pick Draymond Green as the MVP. I didn't want Steph Curry to feel like he was at the homecoming prom where he win the prom queen, the king of the prom and everything.
That's
and
right.
All that. It just seemed like everything was so set for him.
Yeah.
So it was hard to deny him, but I can't wait to see how Birdman tries to, rain on Steph's parade.
Try to poo-poo on him.
Yeah, you know, Birdman tries to do that. He don't want nobody to fly as high as those Eagles, you know.
Well, and like I said, y'all, it was disappointing. I mean, for me, with the Celtics, first time in franchise history, they lost 3 straight games in the final. That's never happened before in the history of the Celtics, man.
And Draymond wore all black to that game, ironically enough. I said, man, don't give that man that kind of credit,
Yeah. Well, hey, Bird, your thoughts.
I'm gonna remain humble. But I sat up here and made some guarantees. How fitting is it that I made 2 guarantees? One, that there would be an upset, and it all happened with the Warriors closing it out in games on their home court. Come on now. That's all I gotta say.
That's not much of a prediction, sir. That's like predicting Jordan's gonna put up 30. I
guarantee. And look, radar was up there. Oh, let me write it down. Get it wrong. You saw him, Big T.
Yeah, I saw him, and the thing that was, that 21-zip run in Game 6 from the end of the first quarter all the way through the first 5 minutes of the second quarter. When you hit somebody, I think at that point Boston was leading by like 6 or 7 points, or maybe even 8, and they got hit with a 21-zip run. How in the world?
21-zip.
When you're supposed to have, and one of the reasons I picked Boston, because their defense was supposed to be elite. And, we saw them rise to the challenge 3 times. They faced elimination in the playoffs, and each time defense stepped up. They rose to the occasion. And how do you get a 21-zip run put on you when you're supposed to be elite on defense? Go ahead, Bird.
It's because of this. You just said it too. When they were facing elimination and stuff, look at the wear and tear that the players had to go through. How many of those games went to like Game 7? I think the series in Milwaukee that they played and beat them went to Game 7, and then they went to Game 7 with the Heat. That is a wear and tear on any team, whether they're young or veterans. So I think it's more so not the fact that Boston didn't show up, because they did show up, obviously, in the finals. But they disappeared because of the wear and tear of how many games they had to play. And also, it added on to the fact that they are still young, but at least they have that experience for next year.
I wouldn't say it's the number of games. I would say it was more so the level of competition. Because they only had 7 guys that come playoff time. Yeah. So that don't give you a lot of room for error. And then you had to face Heat, and then you had to face Giannis and them. That's enough to take a lot of air out of your tank, more so than the games, but just the actual experience you had to play against. You had to play against Pat Riley and the boys, with Jimmy Butler and them, where they grinded out. And then you had to play against the former champs of last year, the young king Giannis Antetokounmpo. He ain't gonna go out. He ain't going out without a blast. So that's a lot to have on your plate when you coming through the East.
Stats, your thoughts on the finals, man?
It's one of those things where you know the way the book is going to be written, and you don't want to see it happen that way. So as a fan, you're rooting for the other thing to happen, but you know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
And I think that even ESPN, they had a sneaky feeling the Warriors were going to win. You know, NBA TV, that all these people were talking about the Celtics. I think that they really, really just wanted that to happen. Because by the time the third game was over, the narrative had completely changed in the entire series. It went from being, okay, now Boston's going to win, you know, the whole series because they had one good game to, oh man, the Warriors are here. Like, oh my God, how are they going to stop the Warriors?
Yeah.
Like, I think everybody had a clue that this was going to happen, and it just turned out the way everybody thought, and it was upsetting to me.
Well, Bird's not the only one that was gloating, because Stephen A. was reminding everybody that before the season he picked Golden State to win. Rich Eisen kept replaying on his show back in October where he said the Warriors were going to win. So everybody was coming out, poking their chest out this week saying, we called it, we told you.
Right.
And, you know, and so, you know, it like I said, you know, when you look back at Boston and their run, they did go up against a Milwaukee team that had no Chris Middleton. You know, they went up against, I'm not making excuses for them, but they went up against a Miami team that had a Jimmy Butler that was in and out of the lineup with injuries and stuff. So maybe there was a little bit of, you know, fool's gold there with some of that defensive, you know, prowess that they were showing, because they weren't facing completely healthy teams in the East. You know, they got to the finals and you got a completely healthy Golden State team that, you know, I mean, the only injured player they had was why come I can't think of his name? Won MVP the first championship.
Iguodala.
Yeah, that was the only injured player that Golden State had. And at this point, he's a role player, you know.
And I think the same thing would have happened to the Heat if they would have made it, or even Milwaukee if they would have made it. They would have got rolled too, because you can't keep up with that kind of experience unless you got guys on your team that have been there, done that. Not one time, not two times, but a couple of times.
Yeah.
And it's a delicate balance to choose between experience and youth. Yeah.
Well, hey, before we head into the break, let me throw out a few numbers. Y'all know I'm the numbers guy. So let me throw out a few. Hey, stats is called stats. Y'all might want to nickname me numbers, you know. So
numbers
that,
with a Z. Numbers.
Yeah, numbers with a Z. There you go. That 21-zip run was the largest run in the last 50 years of the NBA Finals. I mean, that was his historic run, y'all. Steph averaged over 31 points a game. Only his airness was an older player to average 30 points a game in the finals. Of course, you know, Steph was 34. Jordan was older when he averaged over 30. And Jason Tatum shot 37% for the series, only had 13 points in the deciding game 6. You know, he disappeared time and time again, fourth quarters of games left and right. Marcus Smart only had 9 points in the pivotal game 6. You know, Jaylen Brown was the only one that showed up. He had 34 points in game 6. I got a few more numbers for you, but we got up against a hard break. So when we come back, I'll toss the rest of those numbers out. We'll finish talking about the NBA Finals. You're listening to At Home with the Crossover.
Why so sad when the joy is here? What's the answer? Joy in the morning, the crossover. You can find them all right here on 100.7 WLJF. There's no need to be down when there's plenty of joy to go around. Get your daily dose and turn that frown upside down. Love and Faith Radio, 100.7 WLJF, the joy.
My name is Priscilla Van. I'm with Hometown Insurance Service. I'm an independent insurance agent that specializes in Medicare, senior solutions, life, and health. I work with dozens of companies so that I can offer you the appropriate coverage as well as the affordable price for your insurance needs. If I can help you, please contact me at my website, hometowninsuranceservice.com, or email me at hometown.insurvice, or you can find me on Facebook at Hometown Insurance Service. Thank you.
Times are changing. We all have questions about the future. Join us as we find the answers through the Word of God.
Love and Faith Christian Fellowship invites you to join our congregation. One church, 2 locations, Greensboro and Kernersville.
We're helping people on their path to find God as we provide spiritual leadership and growth through diverse ministry.
Celebrating over 25 years of ministry. Join our Love and Faith community where Jesus Christ is Lord and the people are loved.
All right. Hey. Hey, we come back from the commercial break and voila, Aggie P is in the house. Aggie P, what's going on?
Hey, man, Aggie Pride is nationwide. I'm a little late, but I'm here, buddy. Let's do it.
Better late than never is
That's
what,
right.
what
That's
they
right.
say. Hey, everybody, be sure to catch the magic act of Aggie P. He showed up without a poof, without the smoke, but hey, you know, the magic act is definitely in effect. Be sure to catch it. Catch Birdman with his crown and ring and belt, you know, and Stats with his Phillies jersey on, even though he's a Dodgers fan. And then blind man Radar Charles, of course, you know, trying to make his way through a successful show without missing anything since he can't see. Catch us every Tuesday night. We're the Tunnel Crew, and this is At Home with the Crossover. Catch us every Tuesday night live on YouTube. Love and Faith Radio YouTube channel is the place to go. 7 p.m. is the time, and that's Tuesday nights on YouTube. And then on Thursday nights, 7 p.m., catch the audio version, the original Crossover Sports Show, and you can catch it online at WLJFradio.com. You can also download 100.7 WLJF app, which is available both on Google Play and in the iTunes Store. All right, let me finish with these numbers. Right, I don't have many more, just a couple. Steph Curry, at 34 years old, became the 5th person in history to have multiple MVPs, a Finals MVP, and a scoring title. So it's putting him in rarefied air, y'all. You know, there was a lot of talk about is Steph Curry now in the top 5, you know, of all-time players because of that performance. I just want to say this about the Celtics. Turnovers absolutely killed the Celtics. They had 22 turnovers in Game 6. They averaged almost 19 turnovers a game in the NBA Finals. They were just sloppy. I don't know how much of that should be given to the Warriors defense as far as giving them credit, and how much of that was just the Celtics just being sloppy, playing out of control, not doing well. I'm going to leave you with one last thought before I hand it off to you guys again, let you have at it. They played a clip of Steph Curry after they lost in the play-in tournament last year. And he said, let me just say this. You don't want to see us next year. That's what he said last year after they lost in the play-in tournament. And man proved to be a prophet because you didn't want to see him in the playoffs this year. Tunnel Crew, before we move on to the baseball report, your thoughts one last time on, you know, Steph Curry, the Warriors. Congratulations to them. The Celtics imploding, Jason Tatum disappearing, Marcus Smart, two-time defensive player of the year, not really having an impact at all in the finals. Your thoughts once again before we close out our finals talk.
Great series, Big T. I think everybody thought the series was going to go 7 games.
I did.
I did too, man. But hey, I mean, I don't know who we can give all the credit to. I mean, Draymond, you know, in his style of play, he took a lot of their players out of the game.
Yeah.
You had Clay to come back. He contributed. And then Curry just went unconscious a lot of times. I mean, from wherever he would launch the ball, it would go in. So, I mean,
Except for that game 5 where he went 0 for 9, and that broke his streak of never missing. Never having a game without making at least one 3-pointer in the playoffs.
I think his fingernail was hurt. I saw him on the sideline, talking to the trainer. His fingernail took the dynamics off the launch of the ball or something.
Yeah.
So, but he got it taped up and he came back, and he had a great series.
Yeah, he did.
Hands off to him, because the thing that I'm looking at, Tony Crew, is that the guy is 34 years old.
That's right.
And the average retirement age for NBA basketball players is 34.
Yeah.
So, I don't know if we're gonna see this again. We'll wait. We'll wait.
Yeah.
Hey, AKP, did you see all the heat they were throwing? How Steph was doing this?
Oh yeah.
That was for LeBron. He said, take a nap. Why we got all this winning over here, baby boy?
Now, hey, but hold on. When they had that 22-point lead, and he started pointing to his hand like saying he got a ring, and that was in the third quarter, I know he got a little nervous when that lead got cut down to what? He get cut down to 6, I think, in the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
I know he even mentioned that after the game. He said he started thinking, what is going on here?
Yeah. But and then what was it? Clay was talking junk about how they was, mashing on him about last year. He called them bozos, and then here goes Draymond wearing a black suit.
Yeah.
I said, oh, that's gonna add a lot of fire to the Christmas game against the Grizzlies next year. That's gonna be one to remember right there.
Yeah.
I can't wait to see that.
Hey, you don't think they'll put them? Oh, so that's right. They've already announced the Christmas games, haven't they?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I was gonna say, because I was thinking, you don't think they'll put the Celtics versus
No.
No, they, like you said, they've already announced it. So all right, well, hey, that will be a good game.
Let the Celtics play the LeBron and them. They need to warm up.
They need to.
Hey, Birdman, that's twice. Mentioned LeBron.
Twice.
I'm waiting.
LeBron is undecided right now. So until he signs back with the Lakers, we undecided. Right?
He just said on his show that if he picked a playoff team to play with, it would have been the Warriors. Kiss him goodbye. You might as well take that
2 and 2 together.
And everything. He out of there, man. He gone.
2 and 2 together. He going to the Warriors. I'm trying to tell you, put 2 and 2 together.
Okay. Wow. Hey, if he does that, that's a ring chaser, man. That's what he gonna be. That's a ring chaser. Come on, LeBron, you bigger than that, man. You don't need to chase rings, bruh.
Steph gonna get his spot on Mount Rushmore if he does that. Wink, wink, AP.
I do believe that will happen.
Hey, the favorites were announced, and the Warriors are already the favorite for next year to cut down the Knicks. Do they even cut down nets in the NBA? Or is that just a college thing? I don't think they cut down nets in the NBA, do they?
I thought they did. I thought I saw a picture of.
Now it's funny. Now that I think about it, I've never really thought about that before, but I don't think that's an NBA thing. I think that's a college thing.
Yeah.
But anyway, so yeah, they're the favorites next year, followed by our favorite team, the Nets. Yeah, the Nets are the second favorite according to the odds makers, and then the Celtics are the third favorite, followed by Radar Charles's favorite team, the Bucks, and Giannis. Yeah, they're the fourth favorite team to win the championship next year. So we'll see what happens there. But hey, congratulations to Golden State. It was a great run for them. A quick question for the Tono Crew. A lot of people saying they're one of the greatest dynasties of all time, blah, blah, blah. Where do you put them in regards to that Lakers team from the 80s with Magic and Kareem and Worthy? They won 5 championships. You got the Bulls winning 6 in the 90s. Where do y'all put these guys in that? Do y'all even put them in the same neighborhood?
I don't. I mean, I'm sorry. I mean, I'm pretty sure a lot of people do, but I mean, those teams you just named, Big T. I mean,
yeah,
the Lakers team, Magic and Worthy, and
Kareem.
A lot of the young guys don't remember those guys, man. They used to ball back then.
Yeah, they did. They did.
Cooper.
Yep.
Michael Thompson.
Yeah.
Byron Scott.
Yeah, Byron
that's
Scott.
A lot of heat. That's a lot of heat to him.
AC Green.
Ooh. And Kurt Rambis too.
Kurt Rambis.
Yes, sir.
Too. You know,
Yeah, them
Michael
Chicago
Jordan,
Bulls. Yep.
Before he retired and when he came back.
Yep.
So.
Yeah, I don't think the competition they're facing now is as good as it was when those teams were winning. You know,
it's not. People have more pride about their team, their positions, and their team. They wanted to make legacies where they were at versus try to go somewhere and join a legacy. Yeah,
well, and they allowed you to be more physical back then than they do now.
True.
You know. All right. Well, hey, Bird, your thoughts? You agree with that? You think you think this team is in the same stratosphere as those teams? I know you were pretty young, don't even remember those teams, but
I remember the players,
Yeah.
Watching highlights and stuff, but in a league of their own.
Yeah.
In the next decade, this coming decade, they are the dynasty right now, as far as I'm concerned.
Okay.
They're their own dynasty.
Stats, your thoughts on it?
I think that in that era, defense was a lot harder.
Yeah.
Plain and simple. It's a lot harder to stay healthy when you're getting hand checked and getting chicken wings every night.
And clothesline, I know you saw that Lakers Celtics documentary where jokers get clothesline.
Remember in the Boston Garden, they didn't have air conditioning in the summer. So it was all kinds of weird things you were going up against back then. And I don't think that would go over as well with some of today's players back then. Yeah. But respect for the Warriors.
Yeah.
This generation.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, winning a championship is winning a championship. So you got to give them credit,
I just think there were more obstacles back then to winning a championship. You had more environments, more crowds, more hostility on a night-to-night basis.
Yeah. All right, we're going to hand it off to you, Stats, for the baseball report, because you said you got a smoking hot one tonight. So go ahead and get to it, my man.
All right. So sometimes in baseball, just like in life, you have to get gritty. And I'm not talking about the dance move, y'all.
Gritty.
I'm talking about what happened in the last month of Major League Baseball. And I'm going to start off by an experience with myself. Well, I finally took in a long-awaited game of putt-putt this week at the City Lake Park. It was a very hard game. It was like 12 rounds. It was hot. I was playing all day. I was like, man, am I going to get this in one shot? And I only got one in one shot, and I got one in a second. Well, the lesson is, just like baseball, you got to be patient. The Atlanta Braves were patient. They were very patient. They won 14 straight games after their patience, and they've done this 2 straight years. They got back into contention. They had a meeting with the manager in which he challenged the players to play for the A. Don't play for yourself. And, one of the players on the Braves, in particular, a young Brave, by the name of Ronald Acuna, had an issue doing that with a former Atlanta Brave, Freddie Freeman, who will be making a return to Atlanta this week in a game, in a series I will be attending in Atlanta, Georgia, when the Dodgers take on the Braves for a 3-game series. The Dodgers half a game back, and the Braves 5 games back first. The Braves did lose to the Chicago Cubs last Friday to break up that winning streak. But young sluggers, Austin Riley and Matt Olson, have been carrying the team. In addition to that, they've actually got good pitching from Spencer Strider as well. And the New York Mets are, albeit, only 5 games ahead of them right now. Dansby Swanson has also produced. He's a former Southeastern Conference product. He went to Vanderbilt. ACC fans probably don't want to hear about the SEC right now in baseball because the SEC has completely ruined dreams of many ACC teams so far this NCAA tournament, including that of North Carolina. Arkansas came completely out of nowhere following a middling start to the season, along with Texas A&M and Auburn. None of the 3 teams really started well. Going into Easter, all of them were only a week above 500. But they got hot at the right time, and they carried that momentum. Arkansas carried them right to Tobacco Road, where they ripped the Tar Heels' heart out in 2 games, unfortunately. Virginia was ousted by Coastal Carolina, and Virginia Tech had no answer for the Sooners in Blacksburg, as they were sent home in 2 games as well. Notre Dame actually was eliminated today by Texas A&M, and Auburn eliminated top-seeded Stanford. So it looks like the SEC is once again king on the grass, this time in baseball. Continuing on the SEC, Auburn and Arkansas take on each other in an elimination game tonight. The winner moves on to the final field. This game should be great. Both teams have the same record. There really is essentially a split between the two, and it's SEC baseball, which unfortunately for many SEC fans is the best in the country. Continuing on, the grittiest wins of the week go to the Mets. Mark Canha with a go-ahead home run. The Phillies, Garrett Stubbs blasted a walk-off home run, helped them beat the Marlins, and the St. Louis Cardinals homered with 2 outs to win the series against the Reds. And the White Sox, Jake Berger, has 9 jacks, as the White Sox are tightening that lead in the Central between them and the Twins. The Twins take on the Guardians this week in an important series. And that's all for this week's on Isaac's MLB Recap.
Hey, man, thank you. Appreciate that. Stats, we need the baseball fix for all the baseball fans who are listening to the show. Hey, catch us every Tuesday night, 7 p.m. live on YouTube. Go to the Love and Faith Radio YouTube channel. Be sure to like, share, subscribe, tell all your friends about it. Then on Thursday night, catch the audio version of the original Crossover Sports Show. You can find it online at WLJFradio.com, and that's at 7 p.m. Thursday nights. When we come back, we're going to do some social media shout outs, and we're going to have our question of the day. You're listening to At Home with the Crossover.
Why so sad when the joy is here? What's the answer? Joy in the morning, the crossover. You can find them all right here on 100.7 LJF. There's no need to be down when there's plenty of joy to go around. Get your daily dose and turn that frown upside down. Love and Faith Radio, 100.7 WLJF, the joy.
My name is Priscilla Van. I'm with Hometown Insurance Service. I'm an independent insurance agent that specializes in Medicare, senior solutions, life, and health. I work with dozens of companies so that I can offer you the appropriate coverage as well as the affordable price for your insurance needs. If I can help you, please contact me at my website, hometowninsuranceservice.com, or email me at hometown.inservice, or you can find me on Facebook at Hometown Insurance Service. Thank you.
Times are changing. We all have questions about the future. Join us as we find the answers through the Word of God.
Love and Faith Christian Fellowship invites you to join our congregation. 1 church, 2 locations, Greensboro and Kernersville.
We're helping people on their path to find God as we provide spiritual leadership and growth through diverse ministry.
Celebrating over 25 years of ministry, join our Love and Faith community where Jesus Christ is Lord and the people are loved.
100.7 WLJF.
All right, welcome back to At Home with the Crossover. Every Tuesday night, catch us here on YouTube live on the Love and Faith Radio YouTube channel. Be sure to like, share, subscribe, tell all your friends about it. That's every Tuesday night, 7 p.m., Love and Faith Radio YouTube channel. Then on Thursday nights, 7 p.m., catch the audio version of the original Crossover Sports Show. You can find it online at WLJFradio.com. You can also download the WLJF app. It's found on Google Play and in the iTunes store. Radar, we got any social media shout outs, comments by the fans and listeners? Anybody talking to us out there?
Man, we got some of everybody in the stands over here, rooting on the Tunnel Crew over here. We got Small Wonder, of course. She said she had your back with the Celtics. She said she always looking out for you, Big T.
Yeah.
Because with them picks you've been making, it's like you limping up the field, dog. Get him on the field, XB.
Limping down the stretch, right?
somebody told him this, he should have stretched it out before he got out here. Coming out here cold trying to run. B. Smith told him, good job, keep it up. And then we also, TP, I told TP, if she can't show up for the show, at least she can show up for online. So I threw a little shout out to her.
Yeah.
And everybody said, thanks for giving us a heads up on what's going on in the MLB right now.
All right. There you go, Stats. There you go. All right. Well, thank you to all the fans, listeners. We appreciate it. Keep sending those comments, and we'll keep letting you know that we're getting them. Mm-hmm. All right. Real quick, before we jump into our question of the day, the Hornets had a coach, and then he said, psych, I'm not your coach. he pulled a Josh McDaniels. I don't know if y'all remember in 2018 when the Colts had hired McDaniels. Right before the press conference, he said, "Nah, I changed my mind." What's up with coaches doing this? So Kenny Atkinson, the Warriors' top assistant, 55 years old, he had agreed verbally, I guess, to take the job. It was supposed to be a 4-year deal. He was supposed to be calling the assistants and draft prospects this week. And then after the Warriors won the championship, guess he got to scratching their head and saying, "God, do I want to ride the coattails of Steph Curry and the boys to another ring? Or do I want to go down there and get fired in Charlotte in about 3 or 4 years?" No, I think I'm gonna stay with Golden State. So everybody, your thoughts on the Hornets situation there? And word is now that 71-year-old Mike D'Antoni is their leading choice. You know, hey, the guy's got multiple 60-win seasons with the Suns and the Rockets. You know. Hey, real quick before we get into our question today, your thoughts on the Hornets coaching situation, everybody?
Big T, is no other prospects? I mean, do we have a college coach that wants to move up? Or, I mean,
hey, and D'Antoni, the problem with the Hornets is they can't stop anybody. You know they're not gonna be able to stop anybody with D'Antoni.
He doesn't teach defense.
Yeah.
Why would you hire a coach who doesn't teach defense and you can't play defense?
Well, and part of the issue now is, the Hornets got the 13th and 15th pick on Thursday night. You're not even gonna have a coach. I mean, even if they hired D'Antoni, he's not gonna be, in place before the draft. So how do you know you're gonna get guys that'll work in his system?
They better call Roy.
But I mean, seriously, how are you gonna know if you get guys that'll work in his system? I mean, he's not even making the pick.
Jordan can coach him up for a few days.
Yeah, right. Bird, your thoughts on it before we move on?
I'll take Coach K at this point, or anybody else.
Oh wow! Say no.
Does Charlotte screw up that bad to a point where we got to find a 71-year-old coach?
Yes, they have.
Yeah.
I mean, all of these assistant coaches on the rosters of these teams, somebody got to be worthy of being a head coach in Charlotte.
Man. Yeah. All right. Well, hey, if no one else you got any thoughts on it, Radar, before we move on?
No comment, sir.
No comment.
No comment.
All right. Well, let's jump on into our question of the day. And it is quite simply this. It's sticking to our NBA Finals Warriors theme here. Who was the most responsible for the Warriors championship? And I'm going to throw some choices out there, but you obviously can pick anybody you want to pick. I mean, if you want to go with the general manager or the owner of the team, you can. But the people I'm going to talk, the names I'm going to toss out there, Andrew Wiggins, Jordan Poole, Steve Kerr, Draymond Green, a healthy Klay Thompson. And I'm putting the emphasis on some of these, like a healthy Klay Thompson. And this next one, a Steph Curry with a chip on his shoulder, because Steph definitely was playing with a chip on his shoulder like I haven't seen him in that series. Or quite simply put, the Golden State defense. Because, I mean, they were kind of suffocating at times. When you go on a 21-zip run, you're locking somebody down. When you're forcing an average of almost 19 turnovers a game, you're locking somebody down. When you hold the Celtics, who, had a pretty high scoring average, to under 100 points in 4 out of the 6 games, you're doing something right on defense. So is it the Golden State defense? Tunnel Crew, that's the question of the day. Have at it.
Wow, Big T, great question. I mean, can we choose 2?
Hey, go ahead. Hey, you can, if you want to choose 2, knock yourself out.
All right. Well, I'm going to go with 2 because it's kind of hard to narrow it down. Well, actually, the whole team.
Yeah.
Even the guys coming off the bench. But, just to stick with the format of your question, I think Draymond, and Steph Curry with the chip on his shoulder.
Mhm.
I say Draymond Green because of his. Now I don't particularly like him, but I do give him credit for his style of play. It brought a lot of energy to the team.
Yeah.
You know, especially on defense, and he was able to get into the head of a lot of the Boston players.
He
because
did.
the way he played and working the referees and being the center of attention. So, me personally, I think he had a big influence on the energy of the team, you know, taking the game to 4. And of course, I mean, everybody saw, you know, what Curry did. I mean, he was just unconscious, you know,
Yeah.
a lot of time. I mean, it seemed like
Yeah.
the basket was so huge, he would just throwing it up and it was falling.
Yeah. Yeah.
But those are my two choices. I think Big T that they was able, you know, to go ahead and put Boston Celtics away. Those would be my two choices.
Yeah. Well, and he's been, you know, this has been a year for him. I mean, remember the All-Star game where he was launching half-court threes and turning around and running back before they even went in, you know?
Yeah.
So this has definitely been the year of Curry. Who next?
I would have to say Bob Myers,
Mm-hmm.
because just 3 years ago, everybody had Steph leaving Golden State. They had Golden State hitting reboot after getting beat by LeBron and them in the play-in game.
Mm-hmm.
And for him to not only bring in Wiggins, give him time when everybody else was kind of taking some time off, and then get him acclimated, and then bring in Jordan Poole from the G League. And then you got Wiseman in through the draft. You got Kuminga draft, Peyton draft, and you're bringing them in with that old crop. You got rid of Barbosa. And Iguodala didn't even have to show up. I mean, that to me, that's pivotal. When you are able to keep players, pay into the luxury tax, keep Steph on tap, give everybody the money that they need, and keep these young guys coming in. I thought that was huge. He would have gotten my vote for the person behind the scenes, the person behind the curtain, if you will.
The wizard, huh?
The wizard, if you will.
That's a good point, Radar. Real good.
That is, because he did put together a lot of key pieces there. So
And he brought in some young legs for them older guys, man.
Yep.
Right.
That's what LeBron needed to do, Bird.
Yep.
Man.
Yeah. But see, that's what happens when you let LeBron put the team together. He go out and get all the old heads,
Right.
and then they run out of gas. You know, you can't let the player
out there every game.
Right.
Yeah.
And not to hit the panic button when Durant left.
Yeah.
And still keep everything just like steady. It didn't have to win, but they just stayed steady. And to lose in a playing game, and then come back and beat everybody handedly on your way. Dude, that's like they say, I'd rather have that long-term benefits than the short-term benefits.
Hey, like Curry said, you don't want to see us next year. If I was him, I'd make a T-shirt out of that, you know? Birdman?
I'm going to say something totally different out the blue.
Okay.
Wiggins and Poole.
Okay.
And here's why, because they stepped up at a time where the team needed them most. Like Curry was struggling a little bit the first part of the series, you know.
He was.
And Thompson was just dormant, even though
he was horrible early.
He disappeared. And Draymond, I don't know why Draymond, he is not a three-point shooter. I don't know why he's shooting up all these bricks for threes.
Yeah.
But Wiggins and Poole were there to step it up. If Curry made a mistake, Poole was there to clean it up.
Yeah.
Poole made a mistake. Wiggins was there to clean it up. And that, to me, was the biggest thing for me, was the chemistry between him and Wiggins and Curry at the same time. Because Curry gonna do what Curry do, but he has to, he has to have like that system, so to speak. Like those young players kind of helped him get there.
Hey, very enlightening information there, Bird, because he's right. You know, I didn't even think about that, but the early part of the series, you did have Draymond was looking terrible. Even his mom was calling him out on social media. Clay was horrible. I mean, it was not the Klay Thompson we used to seeing. And Steph was good, but he had moments in games where he was struggling and stuff. So you're right. Early part of that series, and those were the games where the guys like Wiggins and Poole, you know, they stepped up to play. And then the overall team defense, you know, stepped up and did their thing. Stats, your answer.
I'm gonna go with Steph, and I'm gonna say Steph, and I'm gonna say Klay, just because they literally seemingly didn't miss a shot when I was watching. Like every other time, they were missing. But when I turned it on, they were missing.
Yeah. Well, and they proved to be deadly once again once they got it going with those 3-pointers and just the fearlessness at which they'll launch. You know, that was another thing with Boston. Boston's a really good 3-point shooting team too, but their 3-pointer seemed to let them down, especially in those last 3 games where they lost 3 in a row. And it probably goes back to what someone said earlier, tired legs, maybe, you know?
Yeah.
I think I'm going to go with the defense, man, with the Golden State. Because, you know, that's a team that's not known for being a great defensive team. Everybody knows about their offense, you know, but they don't get, you know, you hardly ever hear anybody talk about how good the defense is. And I'll tell you, I was sitting there watching the game, and I saw that Celtics team, you know, when they needed buckets and other series would get them. You know, it was like and in this series, I was like, yeah, they'll get it. And no, they weren't getting them, you know. Golden State was playing some excellent defense, especially guys like Poole and Wiggins. Wiggins had that one time where he blocked Jason Tatum's shot from behind when Jason thought he was all alone, and he came up from behind and blocked it. And I was like, man, these guys are all over the place. So I'm going to give credit to the Golden State defense. I don't think there was a wrong answer here, you know, because I think all these answers tie into the overall success of the team. So,
yeah, very good answers.
Absolutely.
Take notes, Lakers.
Absolutely. Well, hey, we finished up the question of the day a little early. So before we head into the break, I just want to toss out there a couple of breaking news stories that came down today. Gronk announced he's retiring for a second time after 11 seasons in the NBA. We're not going to say any more about it because he may unretire next week. And Deshaun Watson, it was announced today that 20 out of the 24 civil lawsuits for sexual misconduct were settled. And so we'll see what happens with those last 4 moving forward. But it seems like that's going to pave the way for him to move forward. There you go. Hey, everybody, catch this live at home version of the crossover every Tuesday night, 7 p.m. You can find us online at YouTube at the Love and Faith Radio YouTube channel. Be sure to like, share, subscribe, and tell everybody you know about it. That's every Tuesday night, 7 p.m. live at home with crossover on YouTube. And then on Thursday nights at 7 p.m., catch the audio version of the original crossover sports show. You can find it online at WLJFradio.com. You can also download the WLJF app. It's available on Google Play and in the iTunes store. When we come back, it's time for the wrap.
Why so sad when the joy is here? What's the answer? Joy in the morning, the crossover. You can find them all right here on 100.7 WLJF. There's no need to be down when there's plenty of joy to go around. Get your daily dose and turn that frown upside down. Love and Faith Radio, 100.7 WLJF, the joy.
My name is Priscilla Van. I'm with Hometown Insurance Service. I'm an independent insurance agent that specializes in Medicare, senior solutions, life, and health. I work with dozens of companies so that I can offer you the appropriate coverage as well as the affordable price for your insurance needs. If I can help you, please contact me at my website, hometowninsuranceservice.com, or email me at hometown.insurvice, or you can find me on Facebook at Hometown Insurance Service. Thank you.
times are changing. We all have questions about the future. Join us as we find the answers through the Word of God.
Love and Faith Christian Fellowship invites you to join our congregation. One church, 2 locations, Greensboro and Kernersville.
We're helping people on their path to find God as we provide spiritual leadership and growth through diverse ministry.
Celebrating over 25 years of ministry. Join our Love and Faith community where Jesus Christ is Lord and the people are loved.
It's time now for the crossover wrap-up report. Let's send it back to the tunnel crew.
All right, welcome back to At Home with the Crossover. A couple of quick mentions here. Last week, Tyreek Hill went on his podcast and made a crazy statement. He said Tua Tagovailoa is more accurate than Patrick Mahomes, and the Chiefs are going to regret letting him go. Real quick, just one word answer from the Tunnel Crew. Why is he doing? Why is he saying this? I mean, is this even necessary?
Attention.
You know, is it necessary?
It's the off season. He's bored. He wants to be seen. That's all it is.
Trying to build up
TV.
attention for his podcast, probably. You know,
Shenanigans.
Yeah.
And then all he's really doing is putting pressure on Tua. You know,
Yeah.
I mean, let's be honest. That's all you're doing. Because you're gonna have DBs getting pick six on him and saying, "Oh, I thought he was accurate," you know, stuff like that. While they taking it to the house, so just adding to the pressure there. And then we got the draft coming up, like we said, this Thursday. We'll talk a little bit more about that in the picks. But anybody looking forward to? I mean, they said this is the first time in a long time. There's no really clear-cut number one. Nobody can tell you who the number one pick is going to be. Y'all looking forward to the draft Thursday night?
Yeah,
I am.
Y'all?
I am. I'm looking. I think this is going to be a healthy class where you get at least 5 players that can contribute right away.
Okay. So
especially
volume.
with the teams they're going through.
Volume. It's not top heavy.
Not top heavy. Right.
Right.
Okay. All right, let's move on to this week, the picks. And so last week, actually, we didn't have a show last week. The week before last, the standings look like this. There was a 4-way log jam in first place. Aggie P, Birdman, Bromel, and TP all went 6-2. So they all picked up that coveted weekly win for the tiebreaker. You had Radar only 1 game behind him. He finished second with a 5-3 record. Stats went 4-4, and I'm bringing up the rear. I went 1-7. Tough week for me. That's all right. You know, that's all right. And so the overall standings look like this. Bromel is on top, 98 wins. Aggie P is in second place with 92 wins. Radar also has 92 wins, but Aggie P has more of those coveted weekly wins for the tiebreaker. So that put him in second place over Radar. And then I'm in fourth place with 89 wins. And actually, I'm tied with the queen, the doctor, the mama, TP. We both have 89 wins, but I've got one more weekly win than her. So that gives me the tiebreaker edge, or I'd be on the outside looking in. And then Birdman is in sixth place with 78 wins. He's 11 games back of the fourth spot. And Stats has 76 wins. He's 13 games back of the fourth spot. All right, so let's go to this week's picks. We're picking the USFL semifinals because their championship game will be decided after this Saturday. It's the Birmingham Stallions versus New Orleans, and we got the New Jersey Generals versus Philadelphia. Those games are Saturday night. Then we got the NBA draft. You had to pick your top 3. You got to get all 3 right. Not the order, but it's got to be the same 3 that goes in the top 3 in order for you to get this pick right. We got a WNBA game, the 11-7 Mystics at the 10-6 Storm on Thursday night. And then we got a Major League Baseball series, the Astros at the Yankees, 2 of the hottest teams there. You have to pick a 4-0 sweep, 3-1, or 2-2 split. And then we got our arena football team, the Carolina Cobras at 7-2. They're on the road at the San Antonio Gunslingers on Saturday night. And you got to pick the winner of the game and the final score. Whoever has the closest score to the final wins that pick. All right, so we'll go ahead and start with Bro Mel, who has 9 weekly wins, and he's on top. So he's on top in both categories. He took Birmingham in the USFL, New Jersey in the USFL. He took the Mystics in the WNBA, and he took the Yankees to win that series 3-1. All right, Aggie P, give us yours, sir.
Yes, sir. I got Birmingham, New Jersey. I'm going with the Storm. Come on, Cobras.
Got them Cobras 50-14, but the score doesn't matter for him because he's the only one that took the Cobras, so he wins outright if they win.
If they win.
And he's got 6 weekly wins. Next, we got Radar. Give us yours, sir.
You know what? I wouldn't mess with them Cobras making $200 a week. You know? anywho, I'm gonna go with Birmingham, New Jersey, the Storm, and the Astros 2-2.
All right. And he's got 5 weekly wins. Next, we got Birdman. Give us yours, sir.
I got New Jersey, New Orleans, Storm, and my Yankees in 3-1.
I forgot you were a Yankee fan, man. You get out of here with that. All right, he's got 6 weekly wins. Okay, I'll read the Queen. She's got in the USFL, she's got Jersey winning and New Orleans winning. She also has the Seattle Storm from the WNBA, and she took the Yankees 3-1 to win that series. She has 6 weekly wins for the tiebreaker. And that leaves me. I took Birmingham and New Jersey in the USFL. I took the Seattle Storm, and I took the Yankees 3-1 in that baseball series. And I have 7 weekly wins. And I think stats, that leaves you, my man.
And I've got New Jersey, New Orleans, the Yankees 3-1, and the Storm.
All right. And he has 2 weekly wins in the tiebreaker standing. All right, it's time for our shout outs for Shut Up and Play candidates. We'll start with you, Stats.
All right, my shout out is to the SEC for having a heck of a baseball conference. Even Kentucky and South Carolina were competitive this year, and they posted 3 of the 4 final teams in college baseball. They really are the best conference in baseball and in football.
All right, Birdman.
Shout out to the Queen. I got the crown for me and you.
Radar.
Shout out to the 2022 Special Olympics.
Yes.
Down in Orlando, Florida.
Yes.
They flew out all of the athletes first class on private jets. So I just wanted to give a shout out to the coaches, volunteers.
That's big time. That is big time. All right, Aggie P.
Shout out to TP and Brother Mel. Miss you guys.
There you go. Hey, I'm taking Seattle Storm Sue Bird. She's retiring after 21 years in the WNBA, 12 All-Star appearances, 4 WNBA championships. She's the all-time leader in assists for the WNBA. I see you shaking your head, Radar. Hey, for Birdman. For Radar.
Narrow is the way.
For Aggie P.
No weapon.
For Stats.
Stay gritty.
Stay gritty. I'm your man, Big T, signing off and saying, no matter where you are, look up, know that your creator is there. Until next time, see ya, and we might want to be.
That's all we have for you today. So be sure to join us next week for the crossover. And remember, the Tunnel Crew don't play unless we have something to say.